Hello, dear traveler. I stayed in a baggage car, and it's because I want to talk. Well, I want to carry on talking a little bit deeper or heavier, and I don't want to feel restricted. As I'm saying again, or as I said in the previous one, it's just it's just the game. But I love my cars. It's nice to be playful and just have a fun sometimes. But it's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about anger today, because what I was going through last few days was that I wasn't able to process, or I was overwhelmed what I was feeling, and it was predominantly anger and sadness. So it's the emotions on this like a uncomfortable spectrum of the emotions. And yesterday I had a therapy, and I talked about it with my therapist. And it just shows that I was never able to develop fully some way to cope with these emotions, the way how I would give them a sense, how I would be able to process them and release them. I through my childhood and through my early, let's say, development, I was told, or kind of directed in the way that these emotions are not good. It's like when you feel them, you kind of need to quickly resolve them. It's making other people uncomfortable, and I shouldn't be making other people uncomfortable. And then if I do express them, it's not that I couldn't feel angry, but I am sad that like, of course I could, but I couldn't do that process myself, because every time I was sad and angry, it made the other people around me, sad and angry or irritated. And of course, who wants to sit in that? I know I'm not the only one in my surroundings who can't do these things. It is very typical for the world I'm coming from. And there is because it's a generational thing. It's very, I know why is it that way, or I'm logically understanding it. I'm not blaming anyone for it, but it's really important to bring it to the light and call it the right name and change this toxic pattern, which is not processing these uncomfortable emotions, because they pile up, and they rot inside, and they cause a lot of havoc, and they have a huge power. There's a huge power in sadness and in anger. And if it's used in the, once you process it, and then you can release it in some like creativity, or you can release it in a sport, or you can release it in a some kind of, like writing it down or talking about it. You can use it to inspire. But when you are keeping it inside, and it rots there, it's like a pressure cooker, and you are kind of, in this, just waiting for someone to scratch this wound, and then you just vomit on them everything what bothers you. So you're becoming very dangerous. It can be just words, but then it can also become to a physical action. And I haven't done anything like that. I didn't get to the stage where I would physically somebody beaten or anything. But I had one thing when I was a child, because I wasn't able, as I said, I wasn't able to process this, or I wasn't allowed to process this. It was very often managed for me, that I've been told how I should behave or what should I do with it, but it was not aligned with who I am, or I didn't see any logic, because it was not coming from my system. I wasn't guided and helped to create my own like what's the word, can't remember, like coping. I don't want to say coping mechanism. It's not a coping mechanism. It's like I'll pause because I want this word. Wait. I don't think I got it. I think it's moderation, to be able to moderate myself. So I never learned that. But this anger and this frustration was building in me. And then when I was a kid, I started to bite people. you know, I'm laughing now again. It's not just another thing I'm laughing, but it's very sad because I was so frustrated inside that I had to start doing thing like this to like express my emotion and to get like I was hoping that somebody will see me through it, that I'm kind of I'm not just gonna like hit them, but I'm gonna bite them. I'm gonna like make them uncomfortable so they will be like, oh, are you okay? But of course it didn't work that way. I was told that if I'm gonna act like a dog, they're gonna get me a kennel and I will be, a dog. So thank you very much. That's when I was telling this to my therapist yesterday, I started to cry because I realized the message which I got as a child, which was just trying to protect himself. My brain with its brilliance, it came with this solution, and again I was rejected. So then